The Houston Texans absolutely decimated the LA Chargers in the first playoff game of 2025. Second season, second playoff win for CJ Stroud. I was a little worried picking the Texans to win this game because I felt like everybody was saying the Chargers would win, and how the Chargers ended their season on 3 dominant victories. Jim Harbaugh is also a great coach. They're a good team. However, I had a gut feeling the Texans would win this game mainly because of how well the team played at home in the playoffs last year. Also, during the regular season, the Chargers played 6 games against playoff teams, and they had a 2-4 record throughout those. Besides their 2 wins against the Broncos, they didn't score many points in these matchups. The Houston Texans deferred, and Justin Herbert and his offense got the ball to start the game. They got the run game going early with 2 quick Dobbins runs to get a first down. And the Chargers offense really picked up right where they left off during the regular season, with Justin Herbert shredding defenses with his arm and, of course, getting his main guy McConkey involved. On 1st and 10 from the 38, Justin Herbert rolls out to his left and found Fisk on an amazing throw and catch. The Chargers were looking unstoppable, but on 3rd and 1 in the red zone, Dobbins was met in the backfield by Futoski, and the Chargers were forced to take a 3-0 lead. CJ Stroud's first time with the ball, he drops back and fires over the field to Mechie for a 7-yard gain, but it's stripped by the Chargers defense. And just like that, the Chargers offense was back in scoring position as Gus Edwards ran them into the red zone. But Houston's defense continued to come up big. Will Anderson taking down Herbert. There'd be 4 sacks on the day. The Chargers team started to fall apart. A huge drop by Disley, forcing the Chargers to kick another field goal, taking a 6-0 lead. The defensive battle that was projected continued early in this one. CJ Stroud out of the pocket on 3rd and 7. Should have been picked off. And like that, this game went the Texans' way. They had a few lucky moments, and no matter how many mistakes they made, the defense would bail them out. No matter how many penalties they had 8 for 86 yards compared to the Chargers' 2 for 10. On LA's 3rd drive of the game, they continued to run it with Dobbins, and the Texans would stop them every time, and the Chargers would never get their run game back. Only 50 rushing yards for the LA offense all game. Dobbins only 26. Start the next drive, CJ Stroud would find Schultz and Robert Woods to get the Texans over midfield, but nothing came easy to CJ Stroud in this one as he was under fire all game. Joey Bosa would take him down for the sack, ending their drive. At this point in the game, though, it still feels like the Chargers are in control. The Texans have been held scoreless. They're moving the ball down the field, but of course, on 3rd and 4, after catching 13 of his 14 targets in Week 18, Quentin Johnson drops the ball. It was good defense, though, but everything's still fine. The Chargers have the lead. Joe Mixon is stuffed. A long incompletion for CJ Stroud. On 3rd and 8, trying to throw the ball away under pressure, and it's picked off by Leonard. And you go to this moment in the game. You're up 6-0. Justin Herbert has the ball in Texans territory. CJ Stroud hasn't been able to generate anything on offense all game. Everything's going through Jim Harbaugh, and it's theirs to keep. 1st and 10, Herbert throws a jump ball up to Quentin Johnson, and Lassiter comes down with the interception, and there's the momentum switch of the day. Just a bad decision by Herbert, and he'd only thrown 3 interceptions on the season. The teams would go on to exchange punts as the Chargers would convert the first 3rd down of the game, which is pretty funny. Collectively, these teams were 8 of 25 on 3rd down throughout this game. Both defenses played really hard and well, especially the Texans. They played like they could compete with one of the better teams in the AFC. On the Chargers punt, the ball would be downed at the 2-yard line with 6:16 left on the clock in the first half, and CJ Stroud took the game in his hands, found Nico Collins for a first down, and on 3rd and 16 after a tripping penalty, CJ Stroud would complete one of the best plays of the season. Fumbles the snap, starts running after it, scoops it up, 2 defenders in his face as he's rolling out to the right just outside of his own end zone, somehow escapes them, jumps, throws across the field, and finds Xavier Hutchinson for 34 yards, converting the 3rd and 16 to get the ball to midfield. CJ Stroud saves the Texans in this play. If the ball's turned over, the Chargers could have an easy 13-0 lead at halftime, or a 13-0 lead if they have to punt. Either way, the Chargers are probably leading going into halftime, but instead, the Texans are moving the ball down the field. On 2nd and 10, Stroud would fire over the middle of the field to find Collins for 34 yards. And continuing with the clutch 3rd and 11, Nico Collins touchdown, 7-6 Texans lead. Preceding another LA punt, Stroud would rip the ball 27 yards across midfield, getting the Texans a last-second field goal to make it 10-6 going into the half. Third quarter, Collins kept attacking the Chargers defense, picking up 41 yards on 3rd and 5. And on the very next play, Joe Mixon, trying to make a play, would fumble the ball away. Things were all over the place in this one. The Chargers quickly got the ball over midfield, but the run game would be stopped once again on 3rd down, leading to All-Pro Derek Stingley taking down Johnston for a turnover on downs. Texans run game was on full display. CJ Stroud had 42 yards on his legs. Joe Mixon had 106 on his 25 carries. Getting kicked out of the red zone by an offensive holding call on 1st and 15, CJ Stroud would throw a jump ball to Dalton Schultz and Derwin James would come down with it. However, the call would be reversed. It barely touched the ground. A Joe Mixon unnecessary roughness would make it 2nd and 30. CJ Stroud got his team back into field goal position to make it a 7-point lead. The Chargers would be forced to punt after a Davis reception and fumble forced by once again Stingley, proceeding to the Houston offense to punt it right back. First play of the Chargers' next drive, all hell breaks loose. Herbert overthrows 6-foot McConkey, goes right through his hands. Herbert wasn't under any pressure. It falls into Murray's lap. He takes it back to the house to make it 20-6 Texans. This just reminds you of the Browns-Texans wildcard game last year. 80-year-old Joe Flacco threw back-to-back pick sixes on 2 straight possessions in this same building. CJ Stroud's playoff games have been so exciting. Tons of turnovers, pick sixes, blocked punts. Justin Herbert's thrown 3 picks in the year, 2 in this game. All right, let's get back on track. Finds McConkey 2 times, getting the ball in Texans territory. Getting downfield, unfazed by the interceptions. Pass to Disley in his hands, right through him, intercepted by Stingley. What a game for the All-Pro. He almost took it to the house. It would have been back-to-back pick sixes, just like Joe Flacco's. The touchdown-saving tackle by Dobbins would matter. The Texans would be forced to kick a field goal. However, in the long run, it wouldn't. After back-to-back Anderson and Edwards sacks on 3rd and 26, Lad McConkey would pick up an 86-yard touchdown. Chargers fans think they have a chance, but the extra point is blocked and returned for 2 points for Houston. Instead of a 10-point game with the momentum and hope, it's down to 13. Houston puts it away with a 6-minute and 56-second 74-yard touchdown drive. The things that happened in this game were unbelievable. Herbert would get the ball back with a few minutes left, but it didn't really matter. There wasn't enough time. He'd throw on a 4th interception for good measure. Of course, Derek Stingley would take down his 2nd of the game in his addition to his forced fumble. Herbert had more interceptions in this game than he did on the season. Just unlucky way to go. CJ Stroud really brought the offense together. He was under pressure. He made incredible throws. A lot of people questioned, could the Texans offense get it done against a good defense? They showed they can do it. Really, CJ Stroud and Nico Collins showed they can do it, and that allowed Joe Mixon's run game to develop throughout the second half. And of course, the defense. The secondary hits so hard. Kamari Lassiter, Stingley. The coverage is great. They're playmakers. And of course, the pass rush. Justin Herbert went down 4 times. Some big game-changing sacks, and he was under pressure on a lot of his throws. Now, the Texans would be great for them to play at home, but that only happened if they played the Steelers in the AFC Championship game. They're going to play the Ravens or Chiefs. Probably going to be the Chiefs unless the Broncos win. I believe they'd prefer to play the Chiefs. The Ravens offense looks unstoppable. We saw tonight how they just put away the Steelers defense. And a few weeks ago, the Texans scored 0 points offensively on the Ravens. They want the Chiefs. They lost by 1 score against them a few weeks ago. I think they can hang with them, especially if their defense plays the way they did earlier in this game. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Incredible game. Thanks for watching.